This isn't just another reality TV meltdown. This is perjury, fraud, and full-blown criminal deception, because when the tape played in the courtroom, a voice said, "He'll never leave me if he thinks I'm pregnant." The gallery gasped when Jones dropped his pen, and the judge issued an arrest warrant at that very moment. It was a desperate attempt to keep Jim close, a twisted plan to stay relevant after the incident. They never imagined the tape would surface, and they never imagined she would be belt-cuffed. Dipset collapsed or something even more planned connected to Camron's betrayal and the VH1 backroom deals, and here's the crazy part. Sources claim that the pregnancy lie wasn't just emotional, but it was monetized. Yes, we're talking about brand deals, interviews, and a whole plot based on a baby that never existed. This isn't just messy, it's illegal. And Chrissy just went from reality star to reality check. You think this is bad, but wait until you hear who leaked the tape. You could feel the tension in Thertoire. The court wasn't just packed, it was boiling. The air conditioning couldn't handle the tension, and everyone could sense that something was coming, but nobody, not even Chrissy, was prepared for what was about to happen. The courtroom clerk whispered something to the judge, who nodded once before turning to Chrissy's lawyer. "Your client may want to hear this before she continues," he said, and then he signaled the bailiff .f. A flash drive was inserted into the courtroom sound system, and a fill titled D. Lampkin Unedited MP3 P3 started to play. Chrissy's calm, calculated, cold voice said, "No, I'm not pregnant. But if I say I am, he won't leave. But he always stays when he thinks we're building a family." The courtroom erupted wit gasps and ands, hands over mouths, and even the stenographer froze. The judge leaned forward and asked, "Manan, is that your voice on the tape?" Chrissy didn't say anything. Her lawyer did. "We'd like to request a private review of Talate." To the judge had already signed an arrest order right here in Unreleased court, to no commercial break, AK just cuffs. But wait, how did we even get to this point? We have to go back 8 months ago when rumors first started circulating online that Chrissy was pregnant again. The blogs had a field day. Is Jim finally getting a baby? New chapter for the Jones family. Even though VH1 hinted at a special announcement in the upcoming season of Love, and hip-hop secrets unlocked, cameras followed her everywhere. She rubbed her stomach in Instagram stories, dropping clues like breadcrumbs. Behind the scenes, there was no ultrasound, no OB-GYN, no appointment, and no baby. Just a script plotline designed to elicit sympathy, secure more screen time, and keep Jim stuck in place while Dipset collapsed around them. At that point, Camron had just sealed the truth about his relationship with Chrissy, leaking emails, calls, and even a beach photo. The internet was giggling, and Chrissy needed to quickly change the story. Insiders claimed that the fake pregnancy was a power move on her part and that she knew how to keep Jim close. According to an anonymous source from VH1's production team, Jim might have been upset, but if there was a baby, he wouldn't leave. At first, it worked. Jim began to show up again, and he was even seen house hunting with her. He even posted a blurry photo with the caption, "Blessings on blessings." Fans assumed that a baby was on the way, and Chrissy's brand deals increased. One vitamin company reportedly paid her 5 figures to post a fake bump update, and another skincare brand made her their "The real mess began when she became careless," and a video of Chrissy drinking champagne from a behind-the-scenes shoot for a Love and hip-hop episode leaked. Fans initially dismissed it, claiming it might have been apple cider, but then came the tape containing the voice memo. According to sources, Camron had the tape the entire time, and when the courtroom turned against him during Jim's son's emotional testimony, he decided to throw Chrissy under the bus because he thought that if he was going down, he was taking everyone with him. Cam then turned over the recording, which had been made during a late-night phone call where Chrissy was venting about how to reclaim the narrative. She had no idea he was recording the voice memo, which was just under 2 minutes long, but was enough to blow her entire world apart. Now, the public is trying to figure out how big of a lie this is. Was Jim fooled? Was he involved in it? Or was he just another pawn in Chrissy's desperate attempt to gain power and relevance in a storyline that stopped being cute years ago? Courtroom security attempted to escort Chrissy quietly after the arrest, but it was impossible because there were cameras everywhere. Her wig almost flew off as camera flashed. Doneen journalist yelled, "Are you really pregnant, Chrissy?" Another asked if it was all FOVH 1.1. And finally, her own publicist stood on the steps outside and whispered, "There never was a baby." Boom. By the end of the day, the memes of yarn fake pregnancy queen trended, showing Chrissy photoshopped into baby showers with empty cribs, a fake baby registry listing attention and screen time as the top gifts, and Jim Jones holding an imaginary baby looking confused. What hurt the most, though, was that Jim never showed up at the Yale house. Not for bail, backup, or even for her. Mugshot. The silence in the courtroom was louder than Engavelville, as Chrissy sat in a cold holding cell, clad in full makeup and betrayal. Rumor has it that Jim left New York once more, this time permanently, and that he's cutting everyone off. The world outside was collapsing as the tape wasn't the only piece of evidence that surfaced that day, according to sources close to the prosecution. A second leak came just hours after Chrissy's arrest. Screenshots from a secret group chat called Pregnancy Playbook. Yes, you read the right. Tininthi chat. Is a Chrissy liar RR. They booked her under her government name, Christine Lannon. There was no reality star glitter, no love, and no hip-hop confessional lighting, just a cold meta bench. GH. Fluorescent lights. And the sound of a steel door slamming shut behind her. A leaked Venmo transaction revealed that the producers paid Chrissy a bonus for sticking to the lie, but a VH1 associate producer named Morgan B. and someone saved as CC Cam, who was thought to be Camron's assistant, sent the following messages. Pure scandagold. Morgan BB, we will shoot the reveal I Miami. He just has to say she missed her period and ace emotional. Chrissy see go it. I'll wear flowy dresses and rub my belly during talkin' heads. See Cam, Jimmy won't know what hit. Him lol, let that sinin on. They weren't just faking a pregnancy. They were producing it like miniseries with With's fake reactions, N's fake tears, and Anders' fake positive test props. One message even mentioned a plan to use Jim's mother in the story. 2 days after her first on-air pregnancy tease, a VH1 linked account paid her a storyline incentive. By this point, the public's trust in Chrissy had been destroyed, and Jim had not commented or made an appearance. But guess who did speak up? Mama Jones went live on Instagram, smoking a Virginia Slim while wearing a scarf. She said, I always knew that girl was full O games. I ain't see any no bad bump, no clinic visits, it's nothing. Jimin better wake up and leave that dram behind, and she wasn't alone. Fans showered her comments with support, saying, we've been waiting for, you'd speak, ick ma'am Jones, as you always kept it real. Chrissy Dunn played herself out of the entire family, but wait. The part that really rocked the table after the group chat leak was when a former Love & Hip Hop editor anonymously shared a 3-minute unreleased cut from a scene that never aired. Chrissy, SI backstage after filming a confessio scene, knee takes. Off her microphone, sighs deeply and mutters, damn, I hope nobody asks fob proof. I can't fake this forever. Boom. Her own confession was captured on camera, but it was so real that it went viral. Within an hour, Shade Room reposted it, captioned it, and Cardi B commented, "Letted this Tobias boiling." The storyline was no longer about Chrissy lying, it was about who helped her lie and why, which leads us back to Camron. Wasn't just a helpless bystander in this mess according to anonymous testimony submitted to the court. Receipts revealed that a public relations firm was hired on Chrissy's behalf, paid directly by Purple Haze LLC, Cam's well-known company. Their job was to create narrative online, flood blogs with subtle announcements, plant stories hinting at IVF, and even go so far as to fabricate a fertility struggle to humanize the lie. One blog post that ran during this campaign said, "Sources say Chrissy has been quietly undergoing IV treatments. Tiaz hoping for a miracle baby with Jim." It was all part of the script, a fabricated comeback arc for Chrissy meant to clean up her image after the Camron affair drama and keep the love. As if that weren't enough, the FTC intervened because Chrissy advertised prenatal vitamins and baby-safe skincare while feigning to be pregnant. And those brands are now facing false advertising lawsuits, which means they're turning around and suing her. One company, Glow Mama Naturals, released a public statement saying, "We partnered with Miss Lampkin in good faith. We are shocked and disappointed to learn the pregnancy was fabricated. We will be held accountable." Hip hop hop. Audience was emotionally invested, but now the audience wants blood. The judge has already ordered an emergency evidence hearing where producers' PR representatives and Chrissy herself are expected to be cross-examined under oath. Has not responded. but our sources claim that he is cleaning the house. His team reportedly showed up at the apartment where he and Chrissy once shared and removed every single item with her name on it, including clothes, photos, and even her dog's food bowl, sending the message, "You're done." But here's the twist no one saw. Just before part 2 concludes, we got exclusive information that there is another tape that is even worse than the fake pregnancy voice note. This particular video shows Chrissy negotiating the lie in a hotel room with Morgan B. while fake pregnancy. Tests are on the table. If the video is shown in court, the judge could upgrade the charges from misdemeanor deception to felony fraud, forcing BH1 to shut down entire seasons. Several producers could also face federal scrutiny, and Chrissy could go from being handcuffed in court to being found guilty. What's even more concerning is that insiders claim that she wasn't acting alone. The court was supposed to reopen at 10 a.m., and she is due to be subpoenaed. By 8:30, however, a crowd had already gathered outside the courthouse, consisting of bloggers with tripods, YouTubers streaming live, aunties holding styrofoam cough cups and whispering, "OJ, Chrissy, Fear, Roya, G." They were correct, as part 3 of this mess wasn't just a scandal, it was a reckoning. By mid-morning, Chrissy was brought back into court in handcuffs, wearing a neutral gray jumpsuit with her initials stitched in. She appeared worn out, her makeup faded, and her attitude gone. This wasn't the woman who used Strudicrust Love and hip-hop stages, flipping her hair and making decisions. Here's where it gets crazy. Just as the proceedings were about to start, the prosecution asked for new evidence, and the judge nodded. This is when the hotel video, which had been leaked to the prosecution from an encrypted server just hours earlier, showed Chrissy and Morgan B. the VH1 associate producer, inside a suite at the W Hotel Itimesme Square. On the table were scripts, a pile of positive pregnancy tests that were obviously props, a folder labeled D Pregnancy Arc CISO 3, E, and Chrissy saying in her own words, "So once we get past the second episode, D, I'll fake the symptoms. Mrs. The vitamins deal hits after that, and I'll say I'm high risk to skip the ultrasound storyline." The courtroom was dead silent as Morgan responded, "We'll cover you if you say miscarriage by episode 6. The fans will back off." The judge stared at the screen as if she were watching a crime scene unfold in real time. Jim Jones wasn't there, but Mama Jones was, and let's just say that this time she didn't whisper, but instead stood up and shouted, "That's evil, that's straight up." The judge pounded the gavel for order in the court, but Chrissy just sat there frozen, without any emotion, tears, or defense, because the video showed everything: the planning, the props, the strategy, and the manipulation. The judge leaned forward. "So, are you ready to explain this footage to the court?" Before Chrissy's attorney could say anything, the courtroom doors opened and a familiar face, Yandy Smith, came in. This is the same Yandy who has been at odds with Chrissy for years, the same Yandy who almost fought Chrissy on camera, the same Yandy who once said, "You think you're a wife because you've been engaged for 15 years? Now she was walking into court with a subpoena in hand, escorted by legal counsel. Gasps swept the gallery, and one blogger literally whispered, "This is giving finale energy." Yandy went to the witness stand, took the oath, sat down, and then she dropped the bomb. "Yes, I knew Chrissy was lying, and yes, Morgan helped plan. The fake, yes, Camron was aware of her pregnancy, and yes, VH1 paid her a bonus to keep the plot moving." The court went crazy, and even the judge leaned back in his chair as if he needed a break. "I told the producers that this would backfire, that using motherhood as a plot point was a bad idea, but they didn't care," said Andy. The worst part was that they told Chrissy to stage a miscarriage. If the lie was discovered mic-drop, Chrissy's voice cracked, and her tears streamed down her face. "I didn't want to go through with it, but I had nothing left. My reputation was gone, Jim wasn't coming home, I had no storyline, no brand deals, and no offers. I thought that if I gave them something dramatic enough, I'd matter again too." Too late, the damage was done. The judge ordered a thorough investigation into VH1's production practices, which opened the door for possible legal repercussions for the entire network. Several producers were placed on emergency leave, and federal investigators escorted Morgan B out of court. VH1 released a shaky statement blaming individual decision-making and promising to review internal ethics protocols, but the public didn't buy it. Twitter exploded, and VH1 encouraged a miscarriage plot to cancel them. Chrissy fabricated a whole life to keep a man she had already lost, and Yandy might have saved the entire culture. The petition to shut down love and hip-hop amassed over 100,000 signatures in a single day. The judge upgraded the charges against Chrissy, who now faces felony fraud, conspiracy to commit emotional abuse, and willful misrepresentation for financial gain. If found guilty, she could serve up to 7 years in prison. Bailiffs escorted her out of court, this time for transfer rather than temporary holding, and her final words were barely audible. "I didn't mean for it to go this far, Jim." But he hasn't said a word. According to sources, he is currently in Paris meeting with independent producers about a documentary series called The Last Truth, which will tell the true story of Dipset Chrissy Camron and the fall of a dynasty. Didn't save her. Instead, it buried her. She appeared defeated when Chrissy returned to the courtroom with 2 bailiffs and a lawyer who appeared to be practicing her plea agreement. The public saw what she had become, not a victim, not a queen, but a headline ready to blow up outside the courthouse steps. Signs that read, "Pregnancy is not a PR stunt. Motherhood is not for ratings. Lock her up." As Chrissy sat in court, visibly inconsolable, the prosecution presented fresh evidence: a wire transfer receipt from Camron's business account to an Aristal individual, and dealt the ultimate blow to what had begun as a viral scandal that had turned into a societal discussion. Offshore consulting firm, purpose of transaction, narrative development fee amount of $60,000 date. 2 weeks prior to Chrissy's online pregnancy announcement, the room exploded again. Bloggers were trembling, and even the courtroom security looked shocked. Of course, Camron wasn't there. According to his team, he was traveling, but insiders say he's been quietly lawyering up since the first arrest was made. However, that wasn't the end of the story, because the judge asked if Ms. Lampkin had made money from the alleged pregnancy scheme. The answer was a resounding yes, as receipts rolled in from PR firms, reality show producers, supplement brands, podcast appearances, and a rumored book deal titled Forever Yours Maybe, The Chrissy Chronicles, which promised to reveal the hidden truths behind love, loyalty, and survival. That book, never written. The deal was canceled hours after her arrest, even though the publishing house said they don't support false narratives that undermine public trust. Then came the last testimony, not from Yandy, Cam, or even Jim, from one of Chrissy's former best friends, Trina Bell, a hairstylist in Atlanta and former background cast member on Love and Hip Hop. She was subpoenaed because old emails between her and Chrissy were discovered in the VH1 archive server emails that read like a blueprint to manipulate not just Jim, but the entire franchise. Out of remorse, marry me. Trina had retorted, "He won't know until it's too late, even if it's fake. I'll have my season, my ring, and my legacy by then," Chrissy retorted. The judge lost it when he slammed the gavel and declared an official federal ethics investigation into VH1's production unit, saying, "This court believes what we're seeing is not just personal deception, but systemic exploitation." Those emails were damning not only for Chrissy, but for the entire industry that helped make her a star. Morgan B., the associate producer, was caught in the middle of the turmoil as the Q Mayhem producers hurried the VH1 representatives out. When the decision was made, Chrissy Lemon would be remanded without bail pending felony charges of intentional emotional fraud, financial deception for commercial gain, manipulation of broadcast content, and obstruction of contractual ethics. Her maximum potential sentence was up to 8 years in prison. Outside, Mama Jones stood on the courthouse steps and said what everyone was already thinking. "I tried to tell him. I tried to tell all of you that she never loved Jim. She loved the lights." The hotel employee was arrested immediately for conspiracy to commit fraud and unlawful tampering with public narratives, and she remained silent. Meanwhile, Jim has not yet returned to the United States. According to sources, he has been in South Africa meeting with independent filmmakers to create what insiders believe will be the largest tell-all documentary series reality TV has ever seen. The engagement that never ended is rumored to cover everything from Chrissy's manipulation to Cam's betrayal to Diploset's implosion, as well as VH1's inner corruption and the emotional toll of spending 20 years in love with a lie. In the midst of that drama, Camron's name has reappeared because guess what? The same encrypted server that leaked Chrissy's hotel footage